You so much for staying with us. The national chairman of Labour Party, Julius Abure, has formally assumed office for the second term. Abure also extended an olive branch to the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress. But let's remind you that despite opposition from the Nigeria Labour Congress, the strongest stakeholder of the Labour Party, Julius Abure has been at the crossroads of controversies and intentions to oust him from the chairmanship position of the party, even by members of the party. The Labour Party was divided on the convention, with members of the National Assembly caucus insisting on postponements to allow for more consultations. Now, members of the Labour Party accused Julius Abure of holding the party's national convention unilaterally. He was also accused of financial mismanagement. But on Wednesday, Julius Abure told journalists that the recent attitude of some obedient members has given a notion that the movements may have been penetrated by the ruling oligarchy to erode all the gains they made in the past year and pull down the party. Tonight, let's try and get some insight into what is presently an unending crisis in the Labour Party. Joining me on the program tonight is Honorable Ikenna Uzomchine. He is former governorship candidate under the platform of the PDP in Anambra State and identifies himself as Obedient General. Honorable, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
My appreciation. Good evening.
Right. So before we get to Julius Abure versus Obedience, let's start with internal wrangling in the Labour Party, which is the political party of your leader, Mr. Peter Obi. What exactly do you consider as the genesis of this crisis? I mean, in a party some Nigerians considered different from the pack.
Well, I must first of all clear you that I'm going to speak strictly for the Obedient Network, and I'll try to run away from that of the Labour Party because really I'm 100% obedient, and like you rightly said, Abure cannot give an olive stick to the Obedient movement because Abure has no business with the Obedient movement, if I may say.
I get that, but I hear that, but it's also very important to talk about the Labour Party because, I mean, if you say that you're an ardent supporter or follower of Mr. Peter Obi, as we speak, he is the party he contested under in 2023 is the Labour Party. So I just want us to talk briefly before we move into other matters concerning the obedience movement and what Julius Abure is saying.
Well, since you want
this
me to
contention,
that,
kindly hold on, Honourable. This contention, I mean, subtle face-off between Barrister Julius Abure and the leadership of the NLC. I consider you as a stakeholder, and that's why I'm asking you these questions. This face-off has continued unabated. I mean, Abure has been accused of misappropriating 3.5 billion naira. He was also accused of forging the signatures of some political aspirants in Ebonyi and Plateau states. So as a member of the Obedient Movement, as a stakeholder, do you agree with these allegations?
Well, right about now, we Obedient, we believe strongly that document in INEC for the Unity Convention should be followed 100% by Abure for an all-inclusive convention that will bring in a Papa and Abure faction together to be able to have a convention that is accepted by all. Outside that, the accusations, embezzlement or whatnot, is not being investigated. And we Obedient, I've said it repeatedly, we are not dwelling on our principle, going about investigating, paying money to lawyers and leaving the focus of the Nigerian people that are suffering today. You can see he's busy moving around all the northern states and wherever he can help. We want him to concentrate on that and not pursue Abure. We are done with the elections in 2023, and we all know what happened. We are facing the real issues now of the cost of bread and cost of fuel and the hardship in the country, and we are caring about the Nigerian people and not waste our resources on going to pay lawyers to go and chase shadows.
All right, but from your time with the Labour Party, I mean, throughout last year, from what you've experienced, from what you've seen as a member of the obedience movement, Do you think that Labour Party is answerable to the Nigerian Labour Congress? Because, I mean, that seems to be an issue where at the moment Julius Abure has continued to say that the Labour Party, or he is not answerable to the Nigerian Labour Congress. I mean, recently he said Joe Ajero, who is the president of the NLC, is not above the law. But the NLC is also insisting that the Labour Party belongs to NLC because the certificate of the registration of Labour Party is with the NLC. So from your overview, is Labour Party answerable to the Nigerian Labour Congress?
It's not rocket science. The Labour Party belongs to the Nigerian Labour Congress. It's normal. We are not going to delve into that. Like I can clearly tell you, I came from the PDP. I was PDP chairman international. I was PDP chairman Europe. And we followed Peter Obi when we realized that PDP wasn't ready to give Peter Obi the ticket. And obedience are in APC, we are in PDP, we are in all the parties. We have millions of obedience across the world. We are not really particular about the party politics in Nigeria. Like you know, if you delve into the political party crisis, you will never achieve anything. We want our presidential candidate, Peter Obi, to concentrate on building alliances with the Nigerian people and finding the right party, or if it's Labour Party, to fly his ticket in 2027. And we are gearing support. We are now concerned about the suffering Nigerian people. Me in particular, I am not a member of Labour Party, but I am in love with Labour Party because that was what created the euphoria that brought about the tsunami in 2023, which you all know what happened. We are not going to tell you what happened. You know what happened.
All right. I mean, it's interesting to hear you say that Mr. Peter Obi needs to concentrate on his alliance with the Nigerian people. Because, I mean, you would agree with me that for him to become a president, or for any, let me not use him as an example, for any politician to become governor or president in this present day Nigeria, you need a political party. But let's come back to something you've said earlier. You've advised the leadership of Labour Party to go back to its drawing board and conduct a proper convention. Does this mean the convention that reinstated Julius Abure for a second term, in your opinion, is invalid?
Well, it's not in my opinion. It's obvious that the convention should have started from the world level to the national level. But as you know, it was hastily done in a Nnewi. And in 1 week, the venues were changed twice or 3 times. We know what is happening in the Labour Party. We're even afraid that the big dogs some big dogs are praying for the collapse of the Labour Party. Like we are saying, we obedient. We are not concerned about the intrigues in the Labour Party. Our principle is doing what we love at this moment, and we are following suit. If Peter Obi decides to move to another party tomorrow, the obedience will follow. So the Labour Party, I believe, Abure knows what to do, and I'm sure our flag bearer is on top of the matter. He is not going to get involved in any matter, a shady business and of Labour Party. Whatever is happening in Labour Party is normal. The other is what's happening in APC and PDP. It's a normal Nigerian thing to distract a focused leader, and I'm sure His Excellency Peter Obi is smart enough to find a way to meander with all these brouhahas, if I may call.
I mean, just like you've said, I've listened to other stakeholders of the party who have also said that for this convention that brought in Julius Abure for a second term to be valid, state and world congresses must be held, just as other political parties do. But if that is to happen now, what must give way?
Can I just be honest with you, obediently? If I was Abure, I would just go. I would just bow out. Abure has done very well, let me give it to him. Abure led a force that scared the whole world. You know, the PM movement was a tsunami. I don't want to sound very attacking to the ruling party at this moment, but we all know what Abure achieved. We are all in that movement, from Sokoto to Kaduna to Jos to to a whole country where we made Nigerians show us love. We are not going to keep repeating to everyone that we won the election or we didn't win the election. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in power today, and all we are asking him is, please rescue the Nigerian people, because people are hungry. People are dying. You know what it will cost you to get home after this news card. It's not a joke. We are in very serious crisis, and we are not going to keep mute and allow people die. We need to rescue the Nigerian people, and that's why I'm here. I'm not ready to. Political parties will always play their games. The PDP, APC, the chairman, they always have this crisis. When it's time to go, they don't want to go. I don't want to do again in this in this party again that he has not done. It's time to go and allow a fresh hands to come on board, if I may advise.
So you're saying that Barrister Julius Abure stepped down for peace to reign in Labour Party. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they must conduct a credible convention that will give way for a new leadership if that's what they agree on. I am not going to make that decision for them. Like I told you, I've been a member of a PDP National Convention for so many times. Convention is a time for parties to showcase love to each other, for them to show their strength. But if you go and quickly hide in a little town in Anambra and do a kangaroo convention that none of the obedience even attended, I didn't attend that convention, and I felt a bit slighted because we were supposed to show the ruling party how powerful we were by occupying the Eagle Square and making Nigerians proud. But we were denied of all that by some group of, I don't know what to call them. But like I said, the Labour Party is a bride now that a lot of people want to pinch on. So let's leave the Labour Party alone. Let's talk about the greatest movement in Nigeria, the obedience movement. That has no leader. We don't have a leader. The leader is just Peter Obi, whom we believe that will deliver the dividends of the democracy. And where he fails, we'll call him out. We are obedience are all over the world. Obedience paid the campaign. We were not sponsored by the Labour Party. So it's difficult for Abure to even call us to, he's giving us a directorate. Abure has no right to tell the obedience movement what to do.
All right,
let him solve the problem in the Labour Party. Let him strengthen Labour Party to be the force that it's supposed to be.
But you know that, in other parties, Mr. Peter Obi would be considered as the leader of the party, so to say, because he was the presidential candidate of the party in 2023. And there are those who had expected him to intervene as, the most notable personality in the party. Rather, he says he would leave the party if peace does not return. But, of recent, he said he wouldn't leave the party. But, however, it was also strange that he was not at that convention. And so this brings the question. Does Peter Obi still support Julius Abure? If it does, shouldn't he speak up about what's happening in his party?
I think you need to call the attention of Peter Obi's spokesman. I am the obedient general. I speak for the obedience, and I've told you that we are ready to follow Peter Obi, whichever route he is to go. I'm not speaking for Peter Obi here. I am speaking for the obedience, and I am obedient. And I will tell you again, if Peter Obi leaves the Labour Party today, we will follow him. But it is important to note that the Papa Mama Pikin slogan has cost us a lot of effort and funds to build into the memory of Nigerians. And it will be my wish that Peter Obi remains in the Labour Party. But where he chooses to live, the Obedient Network has what it takes to give anybody that wants to vie 2027 the run for whatever he has. Because at this point, it's getting to a point where you go out to campaign with a certain signal of a party and you'll be stoned. Nigerians are angry. Nigerians are wounded. I can tell you.
Honorable, I asked that question because, can you hear me? I asked that question because.
I'm listening to you.
Yes, I remember when former governor Olusegun Mimiko was governor of Ondo State under the platform of the Labour Party. I also remember Dan Nwayanwu. I mean, they took charge of the party, especially when there was a bit of instability. And I mean, some managers are wondering, isn't this what Mr. Peter Obi should be doing? And I asked that question because as obedient general, which is, I mean, number one citizen in the obedience movement, I expected that you should have some information for us. But let's talk about...
okay, let me give you some information.
All right.
Peter Obi is 100% in charge of what is happening in the Labour Party. But like I said, Peter Obi listens to the obedience. He listens to the NLC. He listens to the TUC. But like I said, what we don't want Peter Obi to do right now is to go and waste his time and resources in fighting a battle that is not needed. He's a beautiful bride. You know, when you have a beautiful woman, even if she's going out to buy akara, you'll be worried. I hope somebody is not posting her on the road. So Peter Obi should keep going because we know that whatever it takes, that even the APC might even be looking for a Peter Obi in 2027. You cannot be able to, we are not going to say what we don't know. Peter Obi is the beautiful bride. Now allow him to shine, and while his obedient people are watching his back.
All right, I get that. So Julius Abure says there are saboteurs in the obedience movement who are doing all they can to pull down the Labour Party. As the obedient general, who are the people in the obedience movement Abure is talking about? I mean, how did this rosy relationship go sour?
Can you come again, because I'm not really hearing you?
All right. I need to confirm you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now,
right,
yes, madam.
So according to reports, Julius Abure says there are saboteurs in the obedience movement who are doing all they can to pull down the Labour Party. So I'm asking you, who are the people in the obedience movement Abure is talking about? And how did this rosy relationship go sour?
Well, what Abure is thinking is what we obedience are thinking, that there are saboteurs in the Labour Party who want to sell off the obedient movement. So we are all suspecting each other. So you should go back to Abure and tell him to name those saboteurs, because I, obedient general, you can't buy me. I don't know who they want to buy in the obedient network. He knows very well that the obedient network never got any funding from Labour Party. We were organic. So who is going to buy us? I don't understand. Who is buying who? He never funded the obedient movement. Rather, we came to the campaign with the support groups and we were everywhere looking for where to fund with our little monies. No, he can't be fearing for the obedient network because he was never directing us. We rather would advise all political parties to find a directorate for the obedience and try to find out what their needs are, so that our need is good governance. We need a Nigeria that works. We need a Nigeria that will cater for the needs of the Nigerian people, plus yourself. And this we find in Peter Obi. Tomorrow we have another leader who we find as strong. Obedience, we are loyal to Peter Obi because we see all the ingredients of where we want Nigeria to be. Don't forget,
but why
I migrated to Belgium almost 33 years ago, and I was PDP chairman Belgium in 2001. I became PDP chairman Europe, then I became PDP chairman international. And when it was time for Peter Obi to be the flag bearer of PDP, they did their politics, and that was when I left PDP and followed Peter Obi as an obedient. So I know the intrigues in the Nigerian political process. It's difficult to find a good leader in Nigeria because the Nigerian state has been ruled for so many years by bad leadership. And for one time, we had the opportunity, my dear, for us to get things right. Most of the people that migrated to Europe with me in the early 90s are from Rwanda and Burundi. Today, they've all left me and gone back. Rwanda is working, even though the democracy there is not as good as it should be. But the system is working, and Nigeria is going down. So my colleagues are virtually telling me and so many others to go to Nigeria, and it says that
But why do you think Julius Abure would authoritatively say that there are saboteurs in the obedience movement and that some persons in the obedience movement are planning to pull down the Labour Party?
Back and forth.
I didn't get that. Did you get my question, Honorable?
Yes, I think I can hear you now, madam. I can hear you.
All right, so I wanted to know why you thought Julius Abure at this time would say that there are saboteurs in the obedience movement and authoritatively say that the obedience movement, I mean, some persons in the obedience movement are planning to pull down the Labour Party.
You've just asked the same question and I responded. Who are they?
I mean,
who are the obedience? Who are the obedience? He cannot just make claims. The obedience are the most disciplined people in the world. We have laborers, we have charlatans, we have professionals, we have professors, and all these people were able to come together in one roof and form this formidable force. You know, sometimes the persons that led the obedience movement in some actions are not even educated. We are looking for people that have a sense of direction. We are not speaking English here. Who are the people that have marred our democracy? Are they not the most read? Who are the people rigging our election? Professors. What are we talking about? This time around, because of the obedient movement, we have identified that even a bricklayer can bring good suggestions. And that's why we are very organic.
All right. All right, Honorable. Now, I mean, let's talk about the obedience movement and its ideology. But first, let's look at what some of the supporters of Peter Obi are saying. For someone like Kenneth Okonkwo, he says 2027 is about Peter Obi, not the Labour Party. And if I'm very clear on what you've been saying since the start of this show, it looks like you're aligning with this thought of Kenneth Okonkwo. Isn't it?
Kenneth Okonkwo is one of us. He's almost like a spokesperson to His Excellency. But what I can tell you, the Obedient Network has many directions. It's difficult to track us. We have obedience that believe that Peter Obi should not even at all speak to the Labour Party again. We have the obedience that believe that Peter Obi should manage with the Labour Party. We have the obedience that want Peter Obi to go to the PDP. So all these people were all in one room talking about what we want Peter Obi to do. But we are still waiting for the master himself to give us a sense of direction. And that's why I'm not able to tell you a lot right about now. We still have enough time till 2027, and the political game is just beginning. So it's difficult.
All right, Honorable. So what I've gotten this night is, what I've gotten from you now is that if Peter Obi goes to any other party, the obedient movement will follow as well. But I asked
100%.
Absolutely. So I asked a question earlier. What is the ideology of the obedience movement?
Our ideology is good governance, respect for the people, the dividends of democracy to the people, somebody who can direct our economy. You know, right about now, we don't have any direction. The dollar is swimming across left and right. People are hungry. Nigerians don't have any basic insurance. Nigerians are queuing in the filling stations. It's difficult for me to keep educating you on this because you know the hardship in Nigeria. We just want people to be happy. Nigeria is blessed and endowed with all the natural resources on earth. We have no reasons for Nigerians to be jabbering all over the world. We have no reasons for Nigerians to be hungry. Nigerians can't even travel again. For you to travel from Jos to Port Harcourt, you pay almost 40,000 naira. How many people can afford that? Students, how are these? Okay, the minimum wage is 30,000. How much is a bag of rice? How much is a loaf of bread? When the children must go to school every day, they need their backpack with juice, with bread, with how much? Oh, it's a pity. I pity Nigerians, and this is not what it should be. We know what Nigeria is.
All right, Honorable. Let's go on a quick break. Come back, everyone. Thank you so much for staying with us on Politics Tonight. This evening, I've been speaking with Honorable Kena Azomchine. Is a former PDP governorship aspirant in Anambra State. Our focus tonight is Labour Party leadership crisis. Honorable, thank you so much for staying with us on the program. Now, let's move on with this conversation quickly. Recently, we saw Peter Obi, held a meeting with former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who was also the PDP presidential candidate of the PDP. Many say this is ahead of 2027. Any insights into what the meeting was all about?
I wasn't there, but it gladdens me to see those two powerful people talking. Because if His Excellency Atiku had given way to Peter Obi, we wouldn't be having this crisis in Nigeria right now. Peter Obi would have been president of Nigeria. So seeing two of them talking, from my angle as a former PDP international chairman, I'm excited because I don't know what they are discussing, but it will never be anything that is not good for the Nigerian people.
So from what you said, it looks like the obedience movement would be moving into the PDP. And would you be back to? Would you be happy to be back to your former party, Honorable Kena?
I would gladly play a role as obedient anywhere Peter Obi goes. Like I said, let me give you a tip. Since you are pushing me, I know where I'm speaking right now. I'm a true Nigerian. I grew up in northern Nigeria. I might sound Ikena, but I'm a complete Hausa man. Born in the north, school in the north, so I speak Hausa better than Igbo. Let me tell you something. When we went to Delta State during the election, the governorship elections, we realized that Kempela, who is our own candidate, was not really doing very well. We obedience, we discovered that. And we were looking at the Omo Agege and his team, how vicious they were. And we made a decision. Nobody gave us anything. We said, listen, let us help the PDP here so that this Omo Agege guy will not run into obedience after the election. And that was why we had 2 meetings in the government house in Delta State with His Excellency Okowa as obedience. Peter Obi didn't even know this. We gave our support to Sheriff, and Sheriff won. Till today, I don't know who Sheriff is. I've not called him. So obedience are the true Nigerians. Don't play with us. Play with obedience.
Honorable Kena.
Go today, go and ask Okowa, His Excellency, former governor, quote me that we, the obedience, supported Sheriff and he won. And none of us has gone to Delta for anything. That's to tell you the type of people we are in the obedient network. Nobody can buy us, please.
You know, I asked that question because, since the start of this show, you've been saying that any party Mr. Peter Obi chooses to be a part of, obedience follow. So that's why I'm asking, if it's PDP, would you be back? Would you be happy to be back to your former party?
Let him go there and you will see what actions we will take. We are not going to say anything. We are loyal. Like I said, let Peter Obi tell us where to go. We are all gone back to our various businesses looking for money and supporting Nigerians. We are ready anytime he calls. Once we see, he doesn't even need to call us because Peter Obi does not even talk to some of us, if I may tell you. I don't talk to Peter Obi. I'm not speaking for Peter Obi now. I'm obedient. He might know me. He knows who I am. But I'm not. I don't take orders from Peter Obi. We follow Peter Obi. And we are also telling Peter Obi, if you don't do what the obedience, we'll call him out. So till now, he has been a beautiful bride. And I'm telling you this. You go and write it somewhere that 2027 is going to be, Nigerians will come out. You can't reach 2027. You will have to kill all of us.
All right.
We must make sure that who Nigerians want is the president in 2027 because they wouldn't even go to that stadium. That stadium that you could winkle people, they will gather and you claim that you've won. Nigerians will be so hungry that they will know that they don't go to this stadium if this is not their candidates. That's what we'll be doing. So we're already telling those that want to mark 2027 that Nigerians, if they are hungry, they will not go to any stadium. We will make sure they don't go to any stadium.
All right. As we wrap up, I mean, we're winding now, but let's talk about your state, Anambra State. As a former PDP governorship aspirant in Anambra State, it's been 2 years of Governor Chukwuma Soludo at the helm of affairs of the state. How do you assess his administration so far in the areas of insecurity, healthcare delivery, education, and road infrastructure?
You're really going to poke me as an Anambrarian. Well, let me tell you something about Anambra election. I'm not going to comment on Anambra right about now. Like I said, we are talking about P2 and presidency. For Anambra, we are yet to make a decision. Don't forget, there will be primaries in all the political parties. And obedience, most of the obedience don't even support who P2B supports in the state. So it's difficult for you to track me right about now. I can't tell you who I'm supporting. I will see who is doing what is good.
I'm not asking about who you're supporting. I'm asking for you to assess. Did you get my question?
I know I got your question, but I said I'm not going to answer that question yet. I'm still looking at Anambra. I'm still assessing Anambra, and I will make my decision on Anambra, because if I say X, Y, Z now, I'll be misinterpreted. It's too early for me to say something. I'm waiting.
All right then. If it's too early, but I would like you to charge the governor when it comes to improving human capital development in Anambra State.
Well, I'm not in ABGA, I can tell you. I am obedient, and we are not in government in Anambra State. So I know that Anambra is my state. It's my wish that Anambra has a good leadership. I will comment on that by the next time I come to your studio. I will get on ground and really take assessment of what is happening there. And we are just done with the presidential election. That, as you know, we traveled all over Nigeria, organically. I went by road. I traveled from Jos to Jigawa to Sokoto to Borno by road. And I have the videos. If you want, I'll feed you what you will see me driving in Baga and Meduguri by 1 a.m. at night. We saw Nigeria. We saw everything. I can tell you about Nigeria.
But isn't it interesting, Honorable, that you say you care about Nigeria, but it looks like you do not care about what happens in your home, in your own state, Anambra State. So if you're not answering that question, let's talk about the region. Let's talk about the level of insecurity in the Southeast. You must agree with me about how disturbing this is. I mean, juxtaposing this with how the governors of Imo, Ebonyi, Anambra, Enugu, and Abia states have tried to put a stop to the killings and kidnapping in the region. Why has it been difficult for peace to return to the Southeast as it was before?
Well, I don't think anyone wants to kill each other in the Southeast. I think what is happening in the Southeast is politically motivated. And I urge my brothers to stop the sit at home. And as well, I will appeal to the federal government to release Nnamdi Kalu. That will be part of, showing the Southeast that that will be part of extending the peace, if I may say, from my own opinion.
But do you agree that poverty remains the biggest enabler of crime and insecurity in the Southeast? And what de-escalation strategy would you recommend at this time?
If you say poverty in the South, well, what are you going to talk about the North?
At the moment, we're talking about the Southeast.
I don't think there's any poverty in the Southeast. There's just instability. There's disturbance of the people's peace. If there is peace, people will go about their businesses. The people of the Southeast are very hard-working people.
But, at the moment...
The right government policies should be put in place. The checkpoints that are extorting money from common Nigerians should be removed from the roads. If you want to put a security checkpoint, put the proper security checkpoint that does not ask people for money. I traveled from Makurdi to Enugu, and I met more than 30 checkpoints. That's not possible. How do people move their goods when you keep dropping your money, and at the end of the day, tuber of yam is 1,500 in the Southeast? I feel very emotional when I speak about the Southeast, but that's not what I want to talk about today. The Nigerian people are suffering, the Northwest. In fact, the cries for the poverty now is more in the Southwest. If you be honest to yourself.
But when you say the right government policies, Honorable Kenna, when you say the right government policies should be put in place, what should they be?
Get the cost of feeding down. Go look for reasons. Look for how to change the market system and make food affordable. Stop the bandits that are terrorizing the northern farmers. Let there be peace. There's no peace. The killings in Jos, the killings in Makurdi. How can you have a prosperous economy when there's bloodshed every day?
But as we speak, the Senate has passed a bill seeking for the establishment of Southeast Development Commission to be charged to the responsibility to receive and manage funds from allocation of the federal government for the construction and rehabilitation of roads, houses, and other infrastructural damages suffered by the region. How do you react to this new development?
Do those commissions work? Is it not a cash cow for politicians? Those commissions don't work. Northeast Commission, South. These are all, if you want to develop an area, award contracts for the roads to be done and hold those contractors accountable. You don't need a Southeast Commission for things to work in the Southeast. Those clamoring for it might have their intentions. Let us have the good leadership let us have the good democratic, atmosphere, and then things will work. Right about now, you have the IPOP in the Southeast, you have the Boko Haram, you have this in the North Central, and there's no peace. There's no peace in Nigeria.
Yeah, but let's stay with peace. Let's stay with the Southeast now. I'm asking you because, I consider you as a stakeholder, because concerned Nigerians continue to wonder why the region is living in isolation without making any progress. What do you think has been the missing link?
The Southeast region is not living in isolation. The Southeast region has bad leaders. Those leaders in the Southeast were the leaders that the other parts of Nigeria want to plant there. I'm not afraid to tell you what's happening in the South. If you allow the Southeast to thrive with the leadership that they crave, how many governors in the Southeast were elected, by the people? Can you answer me?
You're the one who will answer that question.
But you are telling me that the Southeast is not at peace when you have leaders that emerge from nowhere. So how would there be peace? But now you can see Abia State is at peace. You can see development. There's a template for Nigerians to believe that the obedient network is the way to go. Because we told Abia people that we are here to save you. And Governor Oti is doing a wonderful job in Abia State. So imagine when we have another Governor Oti in Anambra State, what will happen?
So you're saying that...
I will have another in Igbo. I'm saying what?
When you said that, imagine you having another Governor Oti in Anambra State. So, I wanted to say this is indirectly you saying that Professor Charles Soludo is not performing up to par.
I've not said that. I told you on a later stage I will be able to speak on what I know about Anambra State. At this point in time, I have not really looked into Anambra State to be able to tell you. I told you we just finished presidential election and we all returned back. Don't forget, we funded the Obedient Network. We left our jobs. Now we are going back paying bills and families that almost rejected us for using the resources of children to go and run around Nigeria looking for good governance. So you have to give us the time to assess Professor Chukwuma Soludo. I'm not going to condemn him for now, but with time, we will know. We will be able to say something. But right about now, I'm not talking about Anambra here. I'm talking about the presidency.
Okay, because you talked about bad leadership, I want us to talk about, we're winding down, so I want to talk about unity of purpose among the Southeast governors. At what point will the region or the people experience a paradigm shift, or let's say a total commitment to regional cohesion to surmount the challenges facing the Southeast?
It is my prayer that the Southeast leaders team up and possibly form a kind of a rainbow coalition so that they can be able to go to Abuja in unity and be able to negotiate for their people. You cannot have ABGA here, have Labour here, have APC there, have PDP there. That's not how it works. Every region has unity first at home before you go to Abuja. And don't forget, the Southeast has always been the region where every muscle is flexed by the federal. I'm more than almost 30 years in politics, so I know the game of the Southeast politics. And you are not going to be asking me, you are aware that whichever president is in Abuja controls the Southeast, and they plant in their stooges there.
All right.
So we are looking forward to a Southeast that has strong leaders that will speak for the Southeast.
Talking about strong leaders for the Southeast, finally, before I let you go, in April, about 300 ABGA members defected to the Labour Party in Anambra State. Would you like to take another shot at the governorship position of Anambra State?
Well, you know how the economy is biting now. If you delve into Anambra elections, you must have godfather. And I'm not ready to be godfathered by anyone, so I would rather wait.
All right, then. We wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Honorable Ike Zomchine, a former PDP governorship aspirant in Anambra State. Thank you so much for your perspective tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.